Today I'm going to share one of my favourite ranges of coloured pencils ever, the Derwent drawing pencils. About 4 years ago I made a video about these, but as I'd only just bought them it was more of a first impressions type of video. So I wanted to film an updated version, having now used these pencils for the past 4 years, and I'll talk to you about why I love them so much. They're such a unique range of pencils. There are only 24 colours in the collection, but the colour palette is perfection, or as close to perfection as you can get if, like me, you favour a muted natural palette. We're going to start by swatching the colours so that you can see how well they work together, and then I've filmed myself using these for a double page spread in my sketchbook. I'll be recording the voiceover podcast style while you watch my process, and I really hope that you'll find this video useful. Please ignore the first few oval swatches at the top of the page, by the way. I started filming and quickly realised that the sketchbook wasn't in the centre of the frame, so I had to start again, so I hope that's not too confusing. Okay, I'll leave you here and then I'll come back in a bit. Okay, I'm back. Do you see what I mean about how well these colours work together? They're just really beautiful and harmonious, and they're the perfect pencils if you want to draw landscapes or wildlife, any kind of nature subjects where you want a more natural kind of muted palette. So yeah, they suit my way of working, and I think this is why they've become one of my favourite ranges. In fact, they're the only range of pencils where I own all of the colours. And that's partly because they're such a small range with only 24 colours. They don't have like 100 or 200 or however many some of the other ranges have. But I just feel like you need the full range for them to work together as they're supposed to work, if that makes sense. So the sketchbook, by the way, that I'm working in here is a Royal Talens Art Creation sketchbook. And I would recommend these actually. I've been using these for about the past 4 or 5 years, and they're not that expensive. You get a lot of pages, certainly for the money. The paper's really nice. It works well for mixed media. Like for example, in this I'm only going to be using coloured pencils, but I have thrown everything at these pages in the past and they can take it pretty well. They will buckle if you add too much water. So if you're using them for watercolour or something like that, just be prepared that the page will probably buckle. But I really like this kind of ivory cream colour that they have. It's a much more subtle, natural colour than just a bright white page. And the rounded corners as well, there's something really pleasing about those. I really like those too. Anyway, I got over the fear of using this sketchbook because this was a new one. I got this one out especially for this video and thought I'll just start this new sketchbook. I had been meaning to use it over the Christmas period and never got around to using it. That's a whole other story. But I got it out for this, and I always have, even to this day, that slight sketchbook fear when you start a new sketchbook. So what I did is I just used the first page for swatching, and when I want to swatch other materials, I'll just go back and keep adding to that page. And I feel like you get this really lovely layered kind of effect with lots of different materials, just testing them out. It's quite a nice way just to break in a sketchbook so you don't feel that fear of the first page. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, by the way, there'll probably be plenty of gulps and pauses during this commentary because it is harder than it looks to keep talking constantly. Maybe I don't need to talk constantly. Maybe I can just be silent sometimes. I think I probably will, because it might get a bit overwhelming if someone's talking all the time. I kind of like it when I'm watching videos and people just kind of interject now and again, because I like to listen to the music and I like to watch what they're doing. So I'll try not to be too full on. But anyway, as I told you, this is going to be very podcast style. Okay, what else did I want to say? Yeah, I'm working from an image here that I found on Map Crunch. So it was just like a scene in England during the summer. It was fields and trees with some hills in the background, and it had some clouds. So I kind of thought it would be nice to attempt to do some clouds. Clouds are kind of like my nemesis. I feel like I'm sort of getting the hang of them, but I don't know, they're tricky little critters. It's like in most of my paintings, you'll notice that there's not much in the way of clouds. I do try to kind of add clouds to my landscapes a little bit now, but it's actually easier in watercolour. I used to really struggle when I was working in acrylic with clouds, but watercolour is so much easier. But I'm quite liking the softness of these pencil clouds here. So for those I use the warm grey colour. So in this set there's a warm grey and a cool grey, and the cool grey is very blue, and they're both really useful to have because they're quite subtle colours, and so obviously you've got a warm tone and a cool tone, which is nice. But yeah, I've kind of limited myself with this drawing to, I think I used in the end about maybe 6 or 7 different colours. So the colour I'm using here is the ink blue, and that's great for shadows or for like distant hills and things like that. And one thing I would say, actually there are 2 colours that I would say are kind of missing from this collection. So I think it works really well as it is, but if I could choose to have more colours in this collection, I would actually choose to have a Payne's Grey. It's like a really dark blue grey, and also a dark kind of more of a pine green, because we have, I think it's 4 different greens, or is it 5 different greens in this set, but I feel like we're lacking a really dark piney kind of green. But you can kind of get that effect if you go over, I think it was the olive earth I was using mainly for these trees. I did use some of the other greens as well, but if you go over the olive earth with the ink blue, it looks like almost as if you've used a very dark blue-green, which is really nice. So maybe shall I just shut up for a bit? I'll let you watch it, and then I'm going to come back if I've got something in particular that I want to talk to you about. But I hope from this demonstration you can see how well these colours layer and how you can get some really quite subtle effects. I mean, this isn't my finest work because it's only in a sketchbook and I was doing it quite quickly, but I don't know, hopefully you can get an idea. Okay, I'm going to go now and I'll come back in a bit. One thing I'd like to say about these pencils is that they're really versatile because you can either use them very heavily. Because they have such a lot of pigment, you can get really dark, rich, deep tones, but you can also use them very lightly, and so you get this really soft, almost smudgy kind of effect. They're quite a soft pencil, and I think that's why you can do this, because certain ranges are a lot harder, and I don't know, I think this is why I love working with the Derwent drawing pencils so much. It's just that they are just so, I don't know, they have such a nice quality. I'm not describing this very well, but hopefully you can see what I mean even by this drawing. But yeah, they layer incredibly well, so you can really build up layers on top of each other, build up colours. Just really beautiful. By the way, I can't stop getting distracted by my hands in this video. They look so cold. I was wearing gloves because it was super cold in the studio and I didn't have my fire on that day, so I have a little wood burner in there, but that day I didn't have the fire on, and I remember having to put the gloves on because I was so cold, but also my hands look so red when they're cold. But the weird thing is that they don't look as red in person as they do on camera. For some reason, whenever I film my hands or I photograph them, they always look more red on camera. I have no idea why this is. Can any of you tell me why this is? I don't know. But yeah, so if you wonder why I'm wearing gloves, that'll be why. It was freezing in the studio. So here's the finished drawing, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you found it useful if you're interested in perhaps trying these pencils for the first time. If you already use them, let me know actually. Let me know how you like them or not. Maybe you don't. But yeah, I would love to hear in the comments below. Let me know your favourite range of pencils actually, because that would be interesting to find out, because I know that everyone has different preferences when it comes to something like this. So if you made it this far through the video, please leave a comment saying summer landscape, and I will know that you were one of the people who got right through to the end. So if you did, thank you so much. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, because it helps it to reach more people, and that in turn helps my channel. And yeah, I will just say goodbye for now. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you soon with another video. Thanks for watching, everyone.